Okay. Okay, in the last class, we were seeing the fiber channel architecture. As I told in the last class, in fiber channel architecture, we'll study the protocol stack and addressing. We'll study just the overline of how the protocol stack appears and the addressing process carry on. See, in the last class, we saw this diagram where the stack consists of FC0 to 4 layers, that is overall 5 layers. But in this, FC3 is not implemented for your fiber channel. And we'll see here. See, this is the overall summary of what we have studied yesterday. See, as I told, in FC4 we have it is called upper layer protocol. Here we have all the protocols which will provide the interface for data transmission with high speed. According to the application, you can select the upper layer protocols. And FC3 and FC4 is mapping interface. That is, as I told, it gives the interface for your data transfer by using n number of protocols. And FC3 is we have common services in FC3, but when you are implementing fiber channel SAN, here we don't use the layer called FC3, where it provides common services and it is not implemented in the fiber channel protocol stack. And next is your FC2. FC2 we have seen the main functionalities, purposes, routing, and also the flow control. This is the two main functions of the FC2. And here the features is the frames and structures and sequences, everything, the data frames division or the sequences division and addressing, FC addressing, flow control, all this process goes on in your FC2 layer. And when you come for FC1, here we'll see that we'll encode and decode the data. The encoding and decoding is involved in fiber channel 1 layer, where 8 bits character is encoded into 10 bit, or when it is 64 bits characters are encoded into 66 bit encoding is done. And also synchronization, some of the synchronization processes also takes place in the FC1. And the main function of FC1 is it depends on the bits it should need to encode and decode the data it has got. And next is your FC0. As I told, FC0 is a physical layer, and in this physical layer, this becomes the media, or this includes media or cables or connection. All these types of data and connections is included in your physical layer, that is your FC0. This is the overall summary of your protocol stack, how it works. And you can also see in FC0, we have a variety of data rates. According to the data rates, we will select the cables or connection process. We have n number of connecting devices. We'll select according to the various data rates. Hence, it is mentioned 1 gigabytes per second, 2, 4, 8, and 16. All these are different various rate. It depends overall on the application on which you are working. This is your fiber channel protocol stack. And next comes your FC addressing in switched fabric. When you're using switches, see here fabric is nothing but here will from now on we'll be using the word fabric. So fabric is nothing but it is just the area of network where it contains routers and switches. That is your fabric. Fabric is nothing but it is the area which consists of the routers and switches present there. That is your fabric. See in FC addressing, here, one thing is we don't have any permanent addressing things. Dynamically, the addressing can change according to the application. We'll just see the general addressing modes, how it is and what each how the division it takes place. And here we have 24-bit length of addressing, where it is divided into domain ID, area ID, and port ID, where first 8 bits is your port ID, from 8 to 15 is your area ID, from 16 to 23 it is your domain ID. Here each and every ID has its own functionality. This is the generalized addressing modes or addressing of your fiber channel. See, when you come for the domain ID, the first 23rd bit to 16 bit to 23rd bit, where you divide it into domain ID, where it is used for storing the domain ID. Here, domain ID is nothing but it is just the unique number which is provided to each switch which is connected in the fabric. Fabric is nothing but the network area in which the switches and also the uh, routers is present. Domain ID is nothing but a unique number which is provided to the switch which is in the fabric. Here domain ID is a now unique number provided to the switch in the fabric. Next comes your area ID. See, area ID is nothing but which is used to identify a group of ports of the switch. This is just this area ID is useful to identify the group of ports, which is ports of the switch, which is used to connect the nodes. Nodes is nothing but here nodes is your server or your storage. Here area ID, what it helps out is it is used to, it will identify the group of ports of the switch which is connected to the nodes. This area ID will be useful for the details of your switches or your ports of the switches. Next is your port ID. See, port ID is nothing but the name itself says this port ID is useful for identifying the port within a group. When you have n number of group of ports, it will identify a particular port with the ID which is specified. These are the three IDs which is used for addressing. First one is your domain ID, area ID, and port ID. Here domain ID is nothing but it is a unique number which is given to each and every switch within the fabric or the network. Next is your area ID. See, area ID is nothing but it identifies the group of switched ports which is connected to the nodes. Port ID is nothing but it will identify single port by using the ID which is given. See, here area ID, it identifies group of ports, but the port ID will concentrate on single port of the switch. This is the overall addressing of your FC addressing fiber channel. And also you can see the possible maximum possible number of node ports, that is how many devices you can connect is you can connect 239 domains. That is your this overall this figure gives the how many number of devices you can connect to the addressing mode. Here, as I told, FC addressing is dynamically assigned according to the fabric or according to the switches you are working in the loop on the network. Hence this figure may change which is there, but overall these are the categorization where we divide domain ID, area ID, and your port ID. Any doubts? Okay. Okay. See, that is about your FC architecture. See, when it is asked for FC architecture, you should explain FC stack and FC addressing. With diagrams, you need to explain what it is. And next is your, we will see the in fiber channel SAN. Next topics we will be seeing is your FC SAN topologies and zoning. Here we'll see and topologies. You have heard of this word topology, I guess. You have star, mesh, bus. These are all the topologies which is we are aware of in the computer networks. Here we'll see FC SAN topologies and zoning. Zoning is another beautiful concept in the SAN. And here first, in when you come for zoning process, you will see mesh and topologies. Will be studying in this syllabus, will be studying mesh and core edge topologies. And when you come for zoning, we'll see what is zoning, benefits of zoning, and what are the types of zoning. First, we'll see the topologies. See, as I told, topology, here we'll be seeing the mesh and core edge topology. Topology is nothing but how the network is connected, in what structure it is connected. This is the overall description of the topology. And here, when you come for the when in your computer networks, you'll be differentiating the topologies according to the structure. But here we'll be differentiating according to the connections or according to the switching ports. We'll differentiate each and every topology. See here in mesh topology, you can see in the first diagram. First, we'll see full mesh topology. We have two types of mesh topology. First is your full mesh topology, and next is your partial mesh topology. See here, you have a nodes which is connected to the mesh. Here, full mesh is nothing but which is connected with the overall FC switches, where you can see, and this overall area is called, this network of switches is called is your full mesh. And you can see in the same way in partial mesh, you have also FC switches which is connected to the nodes. Nodes is nothing but your servers and storage array. Okay. See, what is the difference between a mesh topology and full mesh and partial mesh is that you can see both the figures look almost similar. In full mesh topology, each switch is connected to every other switch. That is, you can see here, each switch is connected to, the first switch is connected to remaining three switches, the second switch is connected to remaining three switches. In this way, the main difference is that the each switch is connected to every other switch. And in partial mesh, here we don't have that criteria, where there is no consideration that all the switches should be connected to other switches. That is, you can see the first one is connected to only two, the second one is also is connected to only two. There is no connection of each and every switches. But in your full mesh, it is the condition that each switch should be connected to all the other switches. And also here, maximum one ISL, that is inter-switch link. Inter-switch link is required for host to storage traffic. See here, maximum one ISL is, we need to have a inter-switch link where two two or more switches should be connected to form an inter-switch link. And this is possible in your full mesh, where you cannot do it in your partial mesh. This is you can see in the figure, there is no condition that each switch is connected, should be connected to the other switches. And also, host and storage can be connected to any switch. And here in this is applicable to both. Here there is no condition that it should be connected to only first one. Here in the figure I have showed it is connected to first one, but it is left to the application or any host that to which switch he need to be connected. There is no condition that only on this switch the node should be connected or the storage should be connected. You can use any of the switches within the mesh, so that the data transmission takes place. I guess you are clear. Here full mesh is that in full mesh we have each switch is connected to each and every switch in the mesh, in the full mesh, where in your partial mesh there is no condition that each switch should be connected to the other switch. This is the only difference between your full mesh and partial mesh. Any doubts? This is your mesh topology. And next is core edge topology. See, core edge topology, here we have in the previous mesh topology, what it happened is we have only one area where we call it as full mesh. But in your core edge, we have two different areas where we have, you can see here, the first switches which is connected is edge tier, and you have a director in the core tier. We have edge tier and core tier, and you can observe server is always connected to the edge tier and storage is always connected to the core tier. This is the only difference between your full mesh, mesh topology. This is the difference where there we only deal with the one area and we see the difference. But when we come to the core edge topology, here you can see the server is connected to the n number of switches in the tier called edge, and this is interlinked to the core tier, and storage is connected to the FC director that is in the core tier. And FC director, as I told, it almost performs the task what the switch does, but the only difference is it gives the high performance and ports which is present in the switch, in the director is more than the switches. This is the advantages which gives over your switches. Hence when it demands, we go for the connection connectors called FC director. And here we have, this is the overall structure where server is connected to edge and storage is connected to the core. And here also we have, one second. Here also we have single core topology and multiple core topology. See, the first one in the diagram you can see in the PPTs, the first figure is your single core topology, and the second one is your multiple core topology. Here you have n number of benefits, and here you can see we in a single core topology, each and every switch is connected to dedicated director, where you have n number of switches and it is connected to dedicated director. In turn, it is connected to the storage. But in your multiple core topologies, will be using two or more FC directors, so that the data transmission rate will be high. This is the only difference between your single and multiple core topology. Single core topology, we have only one FC director which is connected to the storage and processing is done. But in your multiple core directories, we will be using two or more directors, so that we process the data which is higher than your uh, single edge topology. And also you can see that this what it happened is the main benefits which is given by your multiple core topologies, it has high availability because you have n number of directors and switches running, and you have dedicated links for the data transmission. You have high availability for the host and medium scalability. Scalability is whenever you want, the storage can be increased or the network capacity can be increased. And medium to maximum connectivity, that is connectivity in the sense we have increased the ports. See, in the single core and multiple core is we tend to increase the port so that the more data transmission takes place. This is the core edge topology, and this core edge topology, sometimes it is called as dual core topology also. When you're using FC director to FC directories, then it is dual core, and this can also be increased. Hence, in general, we'll call it as multi-core topology. Understood? The main difference is server is connected to only edge tier and storage is connected to only core tier. We divide it into edge tier and core tier, and then the data transmission takes place. Any doubts?
Oh, wow.
Okay. Okay, this is your mesh topology and core edge topology. This is also a 10 marks question. You may get the question of explain the topologies, or they mention or any one of the topology can be asked for 5 to 6 marks. You need to draw diagram and you need to differentiate, because in mesh topology you have two kinds and in core edge topologies you have two kinds. You need to explain. Next is your, I'll just discuss what is zoning today, and we'll see the types in the next class. See, the next concept is your zoning. See, zoning in SAN has many advantages because we are connected to n number of nodes in a network. See, what is zoning is, it is a FC switch function. See, zoning mainly takes in the switches, where this zoning operations is involved in the switches that enables node ports within the fabric to be logically segmented. See, within the fabric I already told, it is a area in the network where you have n number of switches and routers. This is your fabric to be locally segmented into groups and communicate with each other within the group. See, this is as simple as that, where when you have n number of nodes in the FCSAN network, which is connected to server to storage, you start making the groups of nodes. Here you can see in the figure that you have servers, and using FCSAN you are connected to the storage. You have FCSAN here. In FCSAN you have switches, you have routers, all the network connections is enabled, and you have storage area, that is storage array. See here, what we do in zoning is we logically divide it into groups. Whichever the nodes it is connected into the storage, we logically divide it into groups, and we tend to make that only the communication is should, or the network data transfer should takes place within that group. We are grouping each and everything, and we are naming it as zone 1. You can see here, this is your zone 1, where server and storage is grouped into one, and you have zone 2, and here also servers and storage, it is grouped into zone 2. We group into n number of nodes and we name it as zones. That is your zoning process. And you have a concept called zone set. See, zone set is nothing but n number of zones becomes the zone set. Zone 1 to n is your zone sets of the network. And also, what happens is, why this zoning process came is, we have a when in the fabric where you're working, where you have n number of switches and routers, what happened is, whenever the change takes place, whenever the change takes place, what happened is, when controlling the flow control, we have RSCN, that is registered state change notification. what happened is always the servers, when there is some change, always servers used to produce this RSCN notification to the networks, so that whenever the small change occurs, the RSCN notification would appear, and this traffic is more when compared to the when zoning was not occurred, this traffic was more, hence groups are not formed, all the notifications would start coming up to the network, hence the traffic was increased. To decrease or restrict this RSCN traffic, what it does is the network is divided into n number of zones, and if that change takes place, one or two changes within the group, it will be resolved, where we use divide and conquer rule, so that we restrict the main benefit of zoning is restriction of RSCN traffic. RSCN is registered state change notification, which was sent by the server to the network or the storage or whatever the changes it is done, this traffic was reduced. And also the other thing is it provides access control. See, access controls in the sense, sometimes it would be hectic to control all the servers or the traffic which is pushing up to the network or the storage. When you are doing in the groups, you will have a complete flow of control, so that the accessing of data transmission or retrieving of data is more convenient when you are going for zoning. See, here zoning is nothing but we are grouping the network into and the nodes are grouped into zones, and we call it as zoning. And here we have some of the terminologies. First one is your terminologies. We have first one is your members, zones, zone set. See, these are all the three terminologies which is gives the overall view of how the zone set is formed. See, in the diagram, the first I will explain from bottom to top. The first one is your members. See here, members is nothing but the members includes nodes, that is your server and storage. Members is your nodes, that is server and storage. This combination, in the first one you can see two members, that is maybe server and storage become one zone. In this format, the nodes or the server and storage will become the n number of zones, and these groups will be again clubbed into zone set. All these groups in general, when it is gathered or integrated, then you get the zone set. This is the procedure of this. Here, member is nothing but you call it as server or storage array. These are the nodes which is grouping, that is your server and storage array. And here zone, you can see this nodes became a one. For example, this server and this storage become one zone, and we call it as zone 1. And this server and storage become one zone, and we call it as zone 2. These are all these zones. Here members are servers and storage, zones are zone 1 and zone 2. And when you go for zone set, in this figure, zone 1 and zone 2 overall, it will give the zone set. Zone set is nothing but it is the collection of zones. That is, in this figure you can see zone 1 and zone 2 forms the zone set. Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay. Okay, this is the zoning process, and here you need to specify about these three, where members are all these diagrams are available in the notes also, where n number of members is nothing but your nodes is coming one zone, and n number of zone 1 to n will become your zone set. This is the overall this definition and terminologies or the basics of zoning process. See, in the next class, we'll be studying the types of zoning. Any doubts? I'll just record the attendance, 2 minutes. Okay, if you don't have any doubts, you can leave. We'll continue the types of zoning in next class.